Boeing 777X is not just another airplane. It is a flying giant packed with surprises, massive engines, folding wings, and technology that almost feels unreal. The Boeing 777 has already earned a legendary reputation in aviation. Airlines love it, passengers trust it, and pilots admire it. But Boeing decided that being successful was not enough. They wanted something bigger, smarter, quieter, and far more efficient. That is how the 777X was born. This aircraft looks like Boeing took the regular 777, sent it to the gym for several years, gave it superpowers, and told it to dominate the skies. One of the first things that shocks people about the 777X is its size. This aircraft is absolutely enormous. The 777X is set to become the world's largest twin-engine passenger airplane. Let that sink in for a second. Just 2 engines, yet it can carry hundreds of passengers across extremely long distances with ease. Years ago, people believed only 4-engine aircraft could handle this kind of job. Aircraft like the Boeing 747 and the Airbus A380 were considered the kings of long-haul travel. But the 777X is proving that 2 engines are now more than enough. Now here comes one of the craziest facts about the aircraft. The Boeing 777X has folding wingtips. Yes, folding wings on a passenger airplane. It sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but it is very real. When the aircraft is flying, the wings stretch out fully to improve efficiency and performance. But once the plane lands, the tips fold upwards so it can fit at airport gates more easily. If you ever see the 777X at an airport with its wingtips folded, you might honestly think the plane is transforming into a robot. It looks strange at first, but the idea behind it is brilliant. Larger wings help the aircraft save fuel and improve aerodynamics. Speaking of engineering, the engines on this aircraft are absolutely insane. The 777X uses the GE9X engine, and this thing is a monster. It is officially one of the most powerful jet engines ever created for a commercial airplane. Each engine produces unbelievable levels of thrust. The power is almost difficult to imagine unless you see the engine up close. The GE9X engine is so huge that its diameter is wider than the fuselage of a Boeing 737. Think about that carefully. The engine alone is wider than the body of some passenger aircraft. That fact alone sounds ridiculous, but it is completely true. Despite the enormous size, these engines are designed to be more efficient than older engines. They use advanced materials like carbon fiber composites and ceramic components to reduce weight and improve performance. And passengers benefit too. The engines are quieter than many older aircraft engines. So while the 777X is huge and powerful, it is also designed to create a more peaceful experience inside the cabin. That means less noise during takeoff and a smoother feeling overall. Now let us talk about comfort, because Boeing clearly wanted passengers to notice the difference. The cabin on the 777X is designed to feel more spacious and modern than previous generations. Even though the aircraft still uses an aluminum fuselage instead of a fully composite body like the Boeing 787, Boeing found clever ways to improve the interior experience. The cabin walls are thinner, which creates extra space inside. It may not sound like a huge deal, but every inch matters on a long flight. Airlines can use that extra room to make seats slightly wider or aisles more comfortable. And on a flight lasting over 10 hours, small improvements suddenly become very important. The windows are also much larger than older Boeing 777 windows. More sunlight enters the cabin and passengers get a better view outside. Boeing even positioned the windows higher so travelers can see outside more easily while seated. That may sound simple, but little details like this change the way people experience a flight. And then there is the cabin pressure. This is one of those hidden features many passengers never think about, yet it affects them constantly during flights. Traditional aircraft cabins are pressurized to simulate being at around 8,000 feet above sea level. The 777X lowers that feeling significantly. The result is that passengers may feel less tired, less dehydrated, and less exhausted after long journeys. Anybody who has flown internationally knows how brutal jet lag can be. Sometimes you land feeling like your soul is still somewhere over the Atlantic Ocean. Boeing wants the 777X to reduce that fatigue as much as possible. So the aircraft also features better humidity systems and improved air quality. Basically, Boeing wants passengers to step off the aircraft feeling more human and less like zombies. The luggage bins are another interesting surprise. Boeing redesigned the overhead storage bins to hold more bags. Airlines know passengers carry more cabin luggage than ever before. Everybody wants to avoid checked baggage fees, so people bring giant carry-ons that barely fit. The 777X bins are designed to make boarding easier and reduce that chaotic fight for storage space above the seats. Now here is something aviation fans love discussing. Boeing actually kept the fuselage mainly aluminum instead of switching completely to carbon fiber composites like the 787 Dreamliner. Some people expected Boeing to go fully composite for the 777X, but Boeing chose a different strategy. This is because the original 777 platform was already extremely successful. Another fact that surprises many people is the range of the aircraft. The 777X can travel incredibly long distances non-stop. Some versions are capable of connecting cities separated by massive oceans and continents without refueling. Airlines in the Middle East especially became very interested because the aircraft can efficiently connect places like Dubai or Doha directly to cities across North America, Asia, and beyond. Long-haul flying is one of the most demanding jobs for any aircraft. Planes must carry huge amounts of fuel, passengers, cargo, and supplies while remaining efficient and reliable for extremely long flights. The 777X was built specifically to dominate this market. And speaking of cargo, the 777X is not only about passengers. Airlines love the aircraft because it can carry enormous amounts of freight underneath the cabin. Cargo is a huge business in aviation. Sometimes airlines make millions transporting goods across the globe alongside passengers. The 777X gives airlines strong earning potential in both areas. There is also a strong chance Boeing could eventually release a dedicated freighter version. Cargo operators are always looking for aircraft that combine large payloads with fuel efficiency. And considering how successful previous Boeing freighters have been, many aviation experts believe a 777X cargo version would become extremely popular. Now let us talk about airline orders, because this tells you a lot about confidence in the aircraft. Major airlines around the world rushed to place orders for the 777X. Emirates became one of the largest customers with a truly massive order. Other airlines like Qatar Airways, Lufthansa, Singapore Airlines, British Airways, and Cathay Pacific also committed to the aircraft. And these are not random airlines. These are some of the biggest international carriers on Earth. Airlines do not spend billions of dollars unless they believe an aircraft has serious potential. So despite delays and challenges, many airlines still see the 777X as a major part of their future fleets. Of course, the aircraft's journey has not been smooth. Developing a next-generation airplane is incredibly difficult. The 777X faced testing delays, certification challenges, and engineering problems during development. At one point, a test aircraft suffered structural damage during stress testing. That immediately grabbed headlines across the aviation world. One thing passengers will probably love is that airlines plan to use their newest cabin products on the 777X. Many carriers see this aircraft as a flagship experience. That means travelers can expect modern business class suites, upgraded first-class cabins, premium economy sections, and advanced entertainment systems. British Airways plans to use its newer business class suites with sliding privacy doors. Emirates is expected to feature upgraded premium cabins as well. Qatar Airways has discussed introducing ultra-premium experiences on some routes. Basically, airlines want the 777X to feel special. They actually have a good reason. Flying has become more competitive than ever. Airlines know passengers compare comfort, privacy, food, entertainment, and seating before booking flights. The 777X gives airlines an opportunity to impress travelers with something fresh and modern. Now here's another surprising fact. Even though the 777X is massive, Boeing claims it will be significantly more fuel efficient than older large aircraft. That is extremely important because modern airlines are under pressure to reduce emissions and operating costs at the same time. And remember, this aircraft competes directly with Airbus models like the A350. The rivalry between Boeing and Airbus is basically the Formula One of aviation manufacturing. Every new aircraft becomes part of a larger battle for dominance. Boeing wants the 777X to outperform Airbus in efficiency, range, comfort, and cargo capacity. And here comes another wild detail. Boeing even considered creating an even longer version called the 777-10. If built, it could become the longest passenger aircraft in the world. Just imagine stretching this already giant airplane even further. Aviation fans would absolutely lose their minds seeing something like that taxiing through an airport. Even pilots are fascinated by the 777X. The cockpit combines familiar Boeing design philosophy with advanced digital systems. Boeing wanted pilots transitioning from older 777 aircraft to adapt more easily. That reduces training costs for airlines and makes fleet operations simpler. At the same time, the cockpit still includes upgraded displays, improved systems, and modern technology to assist crews during flights. Aviation technology has evolved rapidly over the past few decades, and the 777X reflects that progress clearly. The landing gear is another area where Boeing had to make serious improvements. This aircraft is heavier and larger than previous versions, so the landing gear had to handle enormous loads during takeoff and landing. Engineers spent years ensuring the aircraft could operate safely at major airports around the world. And despite all its size, the 777X is still designed to deliver smooth handling characteristics. Pilots who have flown earlier 777 models often praise the aircraft family for being surprisingly pleasant to operate considering the size. Boeing wants the 777X to continue that reputation. Another thing that surprises many people is how expensive the aircraft is. We are talking hundreds of millions of dollars for a single airplane. One aircraft can cost more than luxury mansions, sports teams, and entire businesses combined. Aviation is an unbelievably expensive industry, but airlines view these aircraft as long-term investments. A successful wide-body jet can operate for decades while generating enormous revenue. So although the upfront cost is massive, airlines hope the efficiency and passenger appeal of the 777X will make it profitable over time. And then there is the simple visual impact of the airplane itself. The 777X just looks powerful. The long body, giant engines, aggressive wings, and sheer scale make it look like a futuristic machine built to dominate the skies. Aviation enthusiasts are already obsessed with it, and many passengers will probably book flights specifically to experience it. The funny thing is that most travelers may never realize how much engineering exists behind every detail of the aircraft. From wing flexibility to cabin humidity, thousands of engineers worked on solving problems passengers never even think about. That is part of what makes aviation so fascinating. Every improvement requires years of research, testing, and innovation. And the timing of the 777X is interesting too. The aircraft enters a world where airlines are recovering from massive disruptions, changing travel patterns, and increasing environmental pressure. Boeing needs this aircraft to succeed. Airlines need efficient long-haul jets. Passengers want comfort and reliability, so a lot is riding on this airplane. Still, the 777X continues attracting attention because it represents ambition on a huge scale. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more incredible aviation stories, hidden aircraft secrets, and mind-blowing facts from the world of flight. And tell us in the comments, would you fly on the Boeing 777X, or does this giant machine look a little too modernistic for comfort?